Hello, I'm Christine and welcome to my channel. I'm an English teacher with a master's in literature and I like talking about books. As it gets to fall, a lot of people like reading books that are fall themed. They like doing activities that are fall themed. They might like going to get a pumpkin spice latte at a cafe. Mostly Starbucks, but other cafes as well. I know some people don't like Starbucks, but the pumpkin spice flavor is all over the place. So yeah, if you are a millennial, you remember the 2010s, you remember the basic B word, everyone is dressed in the same, like cream sweater, jeans, knee-high boots with like a massive scarf and drinking pumpkin spice lattes. And I tried to be one of those. I didn't really manage it because I like dressing however I feel like, but I did drink my fair share of pumpkin spice lattes. So this one is basically that, but in a book. So this is called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's part of the Dream Harbor series. So helpfully, inside of this book at the start, there's a map of the place, the Dream Harbor. This is where the series takes its name for. So in this you have the main street. So it has a flower shop. The flower shop is going to come out as well in 2026. The ice cream shop as well is going to come out. And actually this is coming out I think in October in like a book festival in Europe. Very exclusive, and I think in the rest of the world is going to come out after the flower shop. But it does exist for that book fair exclusive, so that has its own thing. There's a pet shop that we don't have a book yet, but I think we will have a book for it. There is Mac's Pub. Mac is the love interest of the bakery girl, so that's the one that's coming out soon, or just came out. And then depending on where I post this video, this is why I'm saying or just came out. It might have come out, or it's coming out in October. I don't remember. This is one of the books. And then you have the Pancake House, which has the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which I am gonna read next. The Cinnamon Bun bookstore I've read already. And there's the Christmas Tree Farm. Again, that is the third book in the series, but I don't have that one. So I'm gonna read the Pancake House first, then find the other ones. I'm trying to find them on discount or in buy one get one half price, and I think the more they come, the earlier ones are gonna be discounted, because I do want to have all of them physically. I like the foil in the thing. I am one of those people that likes foil in things. I am a magpie and I'm attracted to shiny stuff. So yeah, and also a nice cover, and I really want to get the coloring book for this, but I haven't caved in yet. I might. Anyway, what is this book about? That is more important. Anyway, all of these books are a small town romance happening in Dream Harbor. So in the first one, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, you have Ginny. She has just moved to Dream Harbor to take over her aunt's cafe, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And she moves in, she doesn't know what she's doing, and she hears some noises outside, and then she grabs like a baseball bat, I think, and she tries to attack someone who knocks at the door after she heard the noises, and that turns out to be the hot farmer who supplies the cafe with fresh pumpkins for decorations and some things that they might want to cook or use or sell. So they fall in love. It turns out the noises are from a cat. Everything's fine. They spend some time together. They have some misunderstandings. He's insecure because he was dating someone else before, and he doesn't want Ginny to leave, and he thinks, oh, she's a big town girl, big city girl, and she's gonna go back. She isn't sure exactly what she's doing, if she made the right choice. Eventually they figure things out, as you'd expect. So this is basically like your classic Hallmark movie feel-good plot, but with the girl being a cafe owner. So the positives for me is I like a Hallmark movie. I just really love Hallmark movies. When it gets to autumn and winter and Christmas especially, I will watch everything on Netflix that is like yeah, this shop owner falls in love with this guy, and it's happening at Christmas, or it's happening at fall. So if you do like those kinds of movies, this would be a book for you. The stakes aren't big. It's like, obviously they will get together. It's the first in the series of everybody getting together. Yeah, it's not for the plot, it's for the vibes. Now, in a way, even though most people will say that this is mostly vibes and not much plot, I would say it's not so big on the vibes. Even though I really liked it and I gave it 5 stars, I would have liked more vibes, even more vibes. Like, she owns a cafe and she does talk about the cafe a bit, but I would like more descriptions of coffee. If you can have pages and pages describing like different coffee beans and the treats and everything that is happening, give me that. Both of that and the second one, they focus on the romance, so you get alternating POVs, and it's like every time they meet is what we see, like it would be in a Hallmark movie. Whereas I would also have liked them individually just going about their lives and just more coziness. And I did give it 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. However, there is a better book for those vibes, which is this one. Now, this one, again, 5 stars, but like, I don't know, 5 stars with an accent. This has the same cafe vibes. You have the same kind of like, the lady gets a cafe, she opens a cafe, and then she meets a man. So this is the Baby Dragon Cafe, and this is cozy fantasy. So you have a town where there are dragons, and some people, the rich, have dragons. There are certain families that are allowed dragons, and baby dragons are really destructive, so they're not allowed to go inside places. In most places they don't really want them in because they blow fire, they break things, and she wants to have a baby dragon cafe and allow dragons specifically, so like a cat cafe, but everything is on fire. So the main character is Safira, and she meets Aiden, and he has a baby dragon that doesn't listen to him at all, and she loves dragons, so the dragon is running off from him in the middle of the night, runs into the cafe, and then she hugs the dragon and immediately clicks with the dragon. And so Aiden is like, well, can you just train this dragon for me because it doesn't listen to anything I say? And so the dragon stays with her a lot of the time, or he brings over the dragon. He's from the rich families, which is why he gets a dragon, but he lives kind of like a poor person. He has a garden landscaping company and he does that, so he offers to do her garden. There's a lot of like cute interactions. Now, what I was saying that this was lacking in some of the vibes, this one has them. So Safira has the cafe, she has like Desi ancestry, so you get a lot of like some Desi fusion flavors in the cafe, and she loves the cafe, so we do get a lot of time with her cooking and making new recipes, making drinks, making desserts, having everything in the cafe exactly right, and talking about that coziness. And Aiden, the same way, he spends time in the garden, gardening and showing his love for what he does. So this is the bit that this book has that this one doesn't, that I think if this one had too, it would have been so much better. And this has dragons, so the baby dragons are adorable. They give treats to the dragons. The dragon is trained. Eventually when they fall in love, like, she struggles with being accepted from his family. And me not having read cozy books before this one, I expected like, okay, she's gonna go and they're gonna say like the worst things about her, and it's gonna show like some kind of racism, some kind of stakes, and it doesn't. And I like that. I was sat there waiting like something bad is gonna happen, it can't all be good, and it is. His family is lovely, they fall in love. We don't see that kind of thing. We see a lot of insecurity from Safira for herself and where she comes from and her family, but in the end, like, Aiden and his family, they embrace her and he loves her for who she is, which was something that's really nice to see, that someone who has those insecurities, who struggles with certain things, can find someone who is supportive, who accepts them, and they are happy together. So I really like that. This one has a second one coming out as well, which is the Baby Dragon Bakery, which is about her friend. And I don't know if she will also have dragons in the bakery, but this is like in the same thing. So the Baby Dragon Bakery is coming out maybe this month or somewhere around this time, and then there is going to be the Baby Dragon bookstore. So it does seem like there are certain shops that are popular in these kinds of books, because this one had a bookshop and it will have a bakery after. This one has bakery as the second, and then it will have a bookstore after. So it seems like this kind of thing is popular. And the writer for this is like Laurie Gilmore, and that's a pseudonym for the writer. And I think because it is kind of marketed as like Gilmore Girls coziness, I think that's why it sounds a lot like Rory Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. So Laurie Gilmore, it makes sense. This one, the writer is Amna Qureshi, and that's her actual name. She has lots of different other book series, and some of them are young adult. This one is like adult fantasy, cozy romance. She writes a lot of different books, and she seems quite lovely. I follow her on Instagram, and she has a lot of like her own Desi background, and that comes through the books, which is really nice. So if you wanted to support someone who is from a different background, different culture, probably doesn't get as much promotion. I don't see this book all over the place. I see this book all over the place, but I think this deserves it so much more. So yeah, I post about this on Instagram, and by the way, I post about books on Instagram and lifestyle things if you want to follow me there. But yeah, if there is a list that I can put this in, and I will be mentioning it again in another video, but for different reasons, on like books about dragons that I read this year, and like where these dragons fall and how they are presented. But in terms of the cafe vibes, I'm not discussing the dragon presentation in this video, but there will be another video on that topic after I finish a couple of books that I'm still reading. But yeah, definitely as a cafe based book, this has more vibes. So yeah, and my last book, again, a lot of people know this book, is Legends and Lattes. For a lot of people, this kickstarted this whole cozy fantasy trend. So you have your main character, Viv, and she's an orc adventurer. So if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, you would like that. I play D&D, you can see my D&D books up there, and this is like dice and things. I've been playing D&D for like over a decade, so I love that. And a lot of the times, like with my party in our group, we have this inn that we bought with the funds from adventuring that we call like the Quiet Lemon, and we've spent a lot of time like designing this place, and we designed like secret rooms. And a lot of the time when we play, we might spend an entire session just like doing shopping, going here and buying this thing, talking about what kind of plants we are going to plant in the garden of our inn. So personally, I felt a lot the desire and the vibes for not every adventuring book being about going and killing something. So I like this one. So Viv is an adventurer who has retired. She got this magic stone that is supposed to align the ley lines and bring good luck. So she takes that and everything that she's saved, and she goes to this city, and she decides to open a coffee shop, and she puts this stone underground. She buys a building, she orders the machine, she orders the beans, and then she hires a succubus, and she is helping her, and that's like the love interest. So this is a lesbian romance. You don't see that much of the romance. This is not a romance story, but you do have that kind of at the end. It is implied that they've kind of are confessing their attraction to each other, but this is not a romance story. You get some of the feels and the vibes, but it's not the focus at all. Viv opens this cafe and she hires a rat who's a baker, and he bakes the best treats. Like, as you read it, you are going to want to try them. And there is one line, I almost never highlight books. I highlight books that I teach because I want to make note of quotes, but if I'm reading for me, I don't do that. But this one, I highlighted a phrase because it spoke to my heart. So it says, describing the coffee, it was like drinking the feeling of being peaceful in your mind. So this is how I feel about coffee. This is exactly what you want. And I highlighted another one, the heat of it filled her like heart's blood, again talking about the coffee. So yeah, that is also the vibes about the coffee, the way Viv talks about coffee, how it made her feel and why it made her want to stop adventuring and open this shop. So in this book, once she opens the shop, there is this gang in the town that comes and asks for protection money, and she doesn't want to give them that. Then there is a guy from her old party who comes in because he knows she has the stone and he wants it, so they burn down the cafe, and somehow she has managed to speak to the lady in charge of the protection gang, and they reach an agreement. So instead of the gang going after her, she ends up like providing pastries for the lady in charge, and they all in the town and the people that they've met help rebuild the thing, and she gets the cafe at the end. So this is about the cafe, and there were like times where it does have the D&D vibes, because she's thinking, if I was adventuring and there was a gang in a town and we were here, we would go and attack them. We would go and get rid of the gang, but now I have a shop and I have different stakes and I'm trying to not do that. And the Succubus character is trying to keep Viv from using violence, from reverting to who she was before, to keep her on the new person that she wants to be, to find alternative solutions. So that was interesting, because I felt, okay, if it was ours, I'd be like, roll for initiative, attack, get rid of the gang, kill this guy, destroy everyone. But that is also why it was interesting for me to think, like, if you're playing D&D and games like that, you are always thinking, oh, you just kill everyone, take the loot, and that's it. And sometimes the role-playing aspect, the cozy, fun aspect of pretty much doing nothing but building a shop is fun, and it's something that we enjoy doing. So yeah, this one is good. This also has other books aligned with that, or sequels, prequels. It has the start of that book at the back. I read the beginning. I wasn't so into it because that one is more about the battles, and I just like the cozy cafe vibes, so I don't know if I would read the other ones, or at least not at the moment. But this one is good. Okay, so at this point I will read you the reviews that I wrote when I first read them, because I have my reading journal and I like making spreads, and I had said in my previous videos, like, this is not just reading, it's the journaling as well. I find that therapeutic. So this is for the Baby Dragon Cafe. I really like the spread I did for this one. I found this art online and it kind of fit. Put a lot of roses around it, dragons, this one is for Aiden in there, and then some like coffee stickers and a girl to symbolize Saphira. Main characters: Saphira and Aiden, and Sparky, the adorable Basalta baby dragon with purple eyes. So that's something to keep in mind. The dragon on the cover here is red, but the actual dragon in the story is a black dragon with purple eyes. Maybe it didn't fit the vibes of the cover design, but yeah, the dragon is different. The first book that I would actually categorize as a cozy book at the time when I was reading. There are lots of adorable baby dragons, coffee and treats in Saphira's Desi Fusion Cafe, and people are kind and not manipulative or toxic. Aiden and Safira fall in love at first sight, and Sparky keeps being jealous and blocks all the cute moments in an adorable way. I like that it's a romance and there's tension, but it does not rely on explicit sex to sell. Even when the sex happens, it fades out to the next day. The writing style is engaging and draws you in, and I like the ethnic minority representation. It's nice to see MMCs who are kind and honest and caring and don't need to be mean to create artificial tension, which does not add to the story. I don't know if he was intentionally made to be on the spectrum, but I thought as I was reading it that he does have some characteristics that kind of put him on the spectrum. Not overly, and I think that's where like the grumpy, he's not grumpy, he's like super awkward and he struggles with people, but I think he was a bit autistic coded, even though like he's a character, so it's hard to diagnose a character for something, but I think possibly he's autistic. Anyway, if you have ideas on that, I would like to know, because that is like something that I thought reading it, and I would like to know if anybody else thought something like that when they were reading it. Right, let me find the second review. This is the pumpkin spice cafe spread. So I printed off the map and then I colored it, some artwork from the writer's page, obviously the cover, some pumpkins for the theme, a fall themed coffee washi tape with pumpkins that I got from Amazon, some like coffee based stickers. And now this is a 2-page review. Right, so this was a book I could not put down. I loved it so much. It feels like a warm cozy hug with a town that I would love to live in and people who I would love to have as friends. I am going to read the whole series and then cry when it's over because it is that good. So this is how I felt after finishing reading it. Logan and Jeannie were really lovable characters, imperfect and complicated, but well-meaning and ready to confront and accept their flaws and work through them. They were believable and adorable, and their interactions were hot and sweet at the same time. I liked the spicy scenes and the romance between them. It felt familiar, and I remember similar scenes from my life, so it was easy to imagine it being true. As a coffee lover, I would have liked more descriptions of the cafe instead of skipping a week when the MCs do not interact, to actually slow down and show Jeannie work and make coffee and show her fall in love with running the cafe. This is what I was saying before, it doesn't have much of that. I would have also liked to see more interactions with the cat, Casper, and some cuteness. I think maybe writers are scared to write the slow scenes sometimes, thinking that a romance book just has to be that. Maybe it's the reader's fault. So that's another point, like when you have a romance book, if you think your readers are there for the romance and not so much for the cozy vibes and the cafe vibes, is your cafe just used as a setting, or is it part of who the characters are? And that's where like it might be the reader's fault. If certain things are popular, then you're more likely to edit that direction. I would have liked more cafe based things, but I don't know, depends on what the majority, I guess, want. I do think the second one has more scenes at the bookstore, but it does again revolve around their interactions. There is a bit more of the bookstore coziness though. I think there was also good planning when it comes to the town, making it a place that feels alive, with the side characters being set up for later stories and dropping enough hints and clues to make readers feel invested enough in them to have to find out what happens with their stories. So that's like the prep for the next book. Some people like that when writers do that you get to know everybody in the first book and then they get their own books. Some readers don't like that. I personally do. I think it's nice, it gets you invested. I want to see how the others will get together. I definitely am curious to know if the style continues across all the books, if there would be more characters introduced. In the second one we do get the Christmas tree farm lady, but it's only like she comes in, gets mad that she was called into this meeting and then leaves, so it's not as much as it happened in the first book. I also cannot fail to say how much I love the covers of these books, the cute shop fronts and the small foil details that are eye-catching and made me want to look at the books because they are just so pretty. I want to display them eventually in the future, and I'm very tempted to also get the coloring book. I still haven't gotten that one. I'm quite obsessed with this series, and I put a quote as well from the book. I've loved you since I saw how many tiny pumpkins you could carry in your arms. That's something Ginny says about Logan, and I think it's cute, like falling in love with someone because they carry a lot of pumpkins. Although it is a trope to have the girl being smaller than the man and the men are like big and muscly, but it is the same in the movies though, so it's not like they are doing it and nobody else does. It is something from the stories. Okay, now other notebook, because I started this year and I finished it, so now we are in the second one. Legends and Lattes. Where is it? Okay, so this is the spread for that. I put some artwork from the cover. Originally the book was published with this as the cover art, and then there are some like other official artworks that I printed, and then I put some D&D stickers for Barbarian, and then some coffee-based stickers. So okay, I wasn't sure about this at first as we've arrived at the city, but once the cafe was built and it opened, it was all cozy goodness. I loved seeing how the cafe grew and got more menu items, and all the coffee descriptions and the cinnamon rolls, moon crescents and thimblets. This is named after the character, but it's like kind of cookie bites type thing. It felt like they all really loved the food and the coffee. Viv was nice and her inner conflict heartfelt. I would have liked to know more about Andre too. The romance was sweet and not the main plot. Thimble, the mouse, was adorable. Cal was lovely. He's the person who did all of the remodeling of the shop, so he's quite big at the start, then he goes away for a while. The bard was sweet as well. So a guy that he came in, he was singing for a bit, not a main character, but he was quite lovely. Just good people overall. I liked that the Madrigal was a good character and not the villain, so that's the one in charge of the extortionists. The actual villain was a, oh god, I'm not saying that word, which is partly why I'm not too keen on seeing him in other stories. Right, so the guy from the party that came back for her, he's one of the party that they're traveling with. So in the prequel, he's gonna be in the party, and I really hated him, and that's another reason that I don't want to see their interactions, because you know what he's gonna do after, and I don't want to be like, oh, he's there, the member of the party, you're supposed to care for him, and I really don't. I don't know, if you've read both and you have other opinions, let me know. I don't want fights, just cozy goodness, so I might not read the rest anytime soon, but I will get to it at some point. Overall, I loved the book. Then I have the two quotes that I read to you before from the actual book, and there is another one that was in there: what flames could not consume never shall be extinguished. So that was after the store caught fire. And then it also has a short story included at the back of the book, which is called Pages to Fill. So I wrote about that. This short story was included, and it was when Viv discovered the coffee. So they alluded to this part, and they kind of talk about, oh, she was walking and she smelled it, but then they actually wrote it as a part, as a short story. The coffee part and the library part I liked, but the rest felt a lot like someone else's D&D game. Not bad, but a different mood from the main book. I like the coffee. These were my 3 cozy cafe-based books. I would put an honorable mention to the Spell Shop, because I think there are cozy vibes, and I don't think there will be a Jam Shop specific like series. I think I will make another video with the bookstore focused ones and the bakery focused ones when they are out, especially from like the Dream Harbor and the Baby Dragon series, to look at how they are. Or once I finish the entire series, I might make a video about here are all the books in the series and here are all the books in the other series, and then compare which ones are better, if the series have gotten better, worse, or which ones are the top ones. So I will wait a bit before I talk about that, but as I said, for dragons there will be another video of portrayal of dragons in books that I have been reading, and they're quite different, including the infamous Fourth Wing series, which I have read so far. We are up to Onyx Storm. So there are those dragons. There are some other dragon related books that I read, so I won't put them all together, but not for the cozy vibes, for the dragon vibes. Different vibes, very different vibes. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, a comment, let me know if you have read other coffee shop based cozy books. They could be cozy fantasy or romance, and let me know what you thought of them. If you've also read these ones, how they compare, or if you know about another coffee shop based book that based on these things that I've liked, you might think I will also enjoy, and then I can add it to my TBR and read that as well. On that note, if you did wonder what's on my TBR or what I'm currently reading at any point, you can follow me on Storygraph. The username is the same I have everywhere, so darkrose22 with a C, and that's where you can see what I'm reading. I usually have a few books on the go at a given time, one physical, one audio, and one that I am reading with my fiance. So there are a few things that I'm reading at the same time at different situations, so that's why I have a few running. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you next time. Bye!